shoes will be backed by reputable manufacturers and installed with expert care. See Bill and Lucy at Perry's Floors and More, 127 West Market, Princeton. Call 270-365-9869.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
Imagine if there were a place you could go to buy gift certificates to some of the best businesses in town. Now, imagine all those great gift certificates priced 30, 35, 40%, and at times over 60% or more off retail every day of the week. The Loyal Listener Big Deal Store is online and waiting for you to shop and buy gift certificates to local businesses. Go to WPKYonline.com.
It's time for your SportsEdge.com Sideline Report with Todd Griffin. Talking sports and more here on 1580, 103.3 WPKY and worldwide at WPKYonline.com. Here's your host, Todd Griffin.
And good morning, everyone. Happy Turkey Day. The Sideline Report is on the air from 1035 West Main Street in Princeton, Kentucky. And again, a live show today for Thanksgiving. And thanks to Gary Goodaker and Ty Englebright for joining us on the show this morning here in the studios. Guys, good morning and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, Todd and Ty. It sounds like it's going to be a nice day of football. 3 games today. They added that third Thanksgiving Day game, about 2-3 years ago?
Yeah, I think that's
so you can
right.
just be a glutton for Thanksgiving football if you like.
You know it. And happy Thanksgiving to you and Gary and everyone out there. And fun to be here on a Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. And we've got a surprise guest on the phone this morning. We're going to be talking with Aaron Clayton, who is the voice of Lyon County and the voice of Murray State University. And Aaron, what else are you the voice of?
Well, right now, hopefully, just the voice here on the Sideline Report. That's about it. So I don't think I need any other more jobs, but usually I get picked up every now and then. I've been fortunate enough to do stuff for Marshall County over the years, of course, for soccer, football, baseball, softball, and some basketball for Livingston Central in postseason action, and of course for Lyon County now. This will be my 9th season with Lyon County, and been with Murray State doing stuff for them since the fall of 2016, PA for men's and women's basketball, and also doing some play-by-play work for football when Neil Bradley's not available, and also for their ESPN Plus broadcast for baseball and softball. So it's been a lot of fun over the last decade or so, but I love being here in Murray, or my hometown this morning for Thanksgiving to celebrate with family, but also it's my other home there in Region 2, and I really do love that area with all my heart. So it's glad to be almost winter time. That means it's almost basketball time, which is my favorite time of the year.
Well, happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for joining us on the show this morning. And what's the Lyon County basketball teams looking like this season?
I think it's going to be really, really great, Todd. Of course, there was some, worry. First, we'll start with the girls last year losing Miss Lyon herself and Allison Murphy. Allison was, of course, the winningest player in Lyon County basketball history. She had been playing varsity since she was a 7th grader, so for 6 years, she won more games than any individual player in the history of Lyon County sports. For that matter, in her 6 years, they're averaging almost 18 wins a year. In those 6 years, she had over 1,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and over 500 assists. So individual and team accolades, not a whole lot more you can talk about than what she did. An All-A title, a couple of district championships as well. But Coach Doom, he always is going to have more coming back. They really don't rebuild, they reload. When he took over the program about a decade ago, 11 seasons ago now, the second year at the helm, he took them all the way to the region championship game. They lost a lot of talent off that team from 2011, and then the next couple of years did rebuild a little bit there. And then since that time, have not had a losing season. It's been an amazing testament what he did. He also had the longest trek to the region tournament. He went 8 consecutive years before missing out a couple of seasons ago. So this is just always a team that you never really can look past, really because of their defense, Todd. Of course, they do bring back a lot from last year. You lose Allison Murphy, but after that, you pretty much bring everybody else back. You're going to bring back Catherine Brown, who led the team in threes, 25 made three-pointers a year ago. Of course, she's getting a lot of Division I offers in golf as well, and she's just a freshman. Also, you're going to be getting back Callista Collins, who was just signed with Rutgers to play softball. She's a great power forward inside, 5'11", power forward that led the team in rebounding a year ago and also averaged 8 points a game. Kentavia Matthews, who is a dynamite, just on-ball defender, led the team with 5 steals, also averaged 5 assists a game a year ago. And then you also have 6 seniors as well. that have really been biding their time, that have been together since middle school, have had a lot of talent come in before them, have not got as much playing time as they would have liked. But really, this is their year to shine. These 6 seniors, and they've stuck together, including Caden Watts, including Ashley Doom, Ashley Butts, Lulu Taylor, Isabella Ortiz, Taylor Sutton. Those 6 have really just waited, and their time is here and now for them to really show something. Also had a couple of new transfers come in, Hadley Butler from Marshall County coming over. So Lyon County should be a lot of fun. So defense is their bread and butter. They only gave up 35 points a game last year on average, which was tops in the region, top 10 in the whole state. They just got to find a way to score. Allison Murphy, even last year, her numbers went down just a bit. They had struggles trying to find a way to score. That cost them in all-A tournament meetings where they only scored 27 points against Dawson Springs, and a 29-27 loss where they also lost in the district championship to Trigg County when they only shot 25% from the field. That's one thing they're going to have to remedy, is finding a way to score. I believe Catherine Brown can really be that catalyst on the outside and then work in and out to Callista Collins there on the low post, and she'll have Taylor Sutton down there with her. So if they can find the way to score, this team could do something really special this year.
Should be fun to watch. And how about the guys' team? The guys have some big plans this year. Lyon County is a small school, but I think they're taking aim at the big boys this year.
They really are. We have a new head coach in Ryan Perry, and that's, of course, nothing against former coach Jeff Embry. Jeff Embry had one of the most successful careers for Lyon County in his 12 years there, and the numbers show. He had 321 seasons. We've only had 14 total in the history of Lyon County basketball since starting in 1947. He tied Kirk Childs, who also had 3 throughout the late 80s and early 90s. He won an all-A championship. He won multiple district championships for those. He actually won a game in the region tournament. Like you said, for a small school, that's saying something, because that win in 2010 against Webster in the region tournament, that is the only win since the Lions went back-to-back region championship game appearances in 90 and 91. So only one win in the region tournament in the last 30 years, and that's with guys like Ty Rogers and many others that played in Lyon County. It's just so difficult, even with really good teams, to find a way to win in the region tournament. But that is the goal this year for new head coach Ryan Perry. He's got a good staff around him. He's got some names people will remember from Lyon County's past in the 80s and 90s with assistant coaches in Chuck Green, who was a great player in the 80s for the Lions and also one of the best all time for Lyon County, and Keith Matchin has come back to be on the staff. Also has a strength and conditioning coach in Tom Roy Akers, Rob Day, so a very good staff for Lyon County boys. But they're not going to shy away from anything. It was an amazing season a year ago with 21 wins, the district title, and a close loss to Henderson County in the region tournament. Lyon County has come close over the last few years. Led in the fourth quarter last year against Henderson County. Led a few years ago, led for about 80% of the game against Webster County, lost at the very end back in 2017. But bring back almost everybody. Now, you're going to lose a few, and you're going to lose one great one, much like Allison Murphy for the girls, Gabe Board for the boys, who now, of course, is playing baseball for Lindsey Wilson College. He was just an amazing leader, truly emotional leader on and off the court. On the court, averaged over 15 points a game a year ago, one of the best percentage shootings I've seen in my lifetime. He almost shot 60% from the field. He shot over 40% from behind the three and shot almost 90% from the free throw line a year ago. Also collected 7 rebounds a game, had 5 assists a game and 4 steals. That'll be tough to replace, along with seniors in Trace Adams and Gabe Deefy, but it's what the Lions bring back that is an amazing testament. They have Jackson Shoulders inside. Of course, he's a multi-sport athlete, a great pitcher for the Lions. Last year, he averaged almost 12 and 10 a game. You have dead-eye shooter Cade Blackburn, who shot almost 40% behind the three-point line a year ago. And, of course, we got to talk about the top 5 preseason player of the year in Travis Perry. By the way, he's just an 8th grader, but last year, as a 7th grader, he averaged almost 22 points a game. He averaged almost 5 assists a game. He had 6 rebounds, and he also had 3 steals. And this is a young man that works on his shot and his game like nobody I've ever seen. I remember last year, at times I'd go there just to do some scouting work. We'd go there just to prepare for games. He'd always be in the gym shooting. This is a young man that at one time, I know just over a 3-day period, just on long weekends, he'd be putting up 2,500 shots a weekend, just working on his game. And it shows on the floor, as he did last year as a 7th grader, helping lead the Lions nearly 21 wins a year. And Coach Perry's not shying away. He's got a very tough schedule here in 2019-2020. It's going to start next week, speaking of Princeton, over at the Cab against Caldwell County in a doubleheader. But he's got a lot of teams scheduled this year that are powerhouses in their respective regions. He originally had a game against McCracken County due to overscheduling. We won't be able to play McCracken, but we still get to play Marshall County. And according to Benny Poles, preseason number 1 player in the state, Zion Harmon. That'll be coming up at Mustang Madness. We'll be playing Madisonville, of course, preseason number 1 team on a lot of polls in Region 2. We'll be playing Hopkinsville in the Toyota of Hopkinsville Classic. We're going to a very tough Campbellsville tournament after Christmas that will see not only the host Campbellsville under Coach Anthony Epps, but also teams from Louisville, Lexington, E-Town area, Elizabethtown, Pleasure Ridge Park, East Jessamine, DuPont, Manual, just some of the teams up there in that tournament that Lyon County may have to go through. A good Murray High team we will see at Hoop Fest on the first week. The first week of the season is really just an amazing gauntlet that the Lions and Lady Lions, for that matter, have to go through. But the Lions on Tuesday night open at Caldwell County, and then Friday night we'll go to Livingston. First week of the year we'll go to a district opponent. Then Saturday they will go to the Wildcat Shootout at Marion, Illinois, Marion High School under Coach Gus Gillespie. That's always tough up there in Marion, those tournaments against the Southern Illinois teams. And we'll play the Compton Apple Knockers at noon on that Saturday, and then turn around on Sunday, drive to Draftonville and play Murray High in the last day of the Hoop Fest at 3 o'clock. So that's the games that the Lions have to go through. And the girls also play Caldwell. They'll play Dawson on Thursday night at Dawson Springs. Friday, they will then go to Livingston. They'll finally have a home game on that Saturday against Ohio County, and then they will get the Sunday off. So both teams with 4 games in the first week, only 1 of the 8 games at home before they actually get to come home the next week on the 13th and play Crittenden County on a Friday. So the schedule is not light, to say the least, Todd.
Well, a lot of basketball games coming up for Lyon County. You got a lot of Murray State games going on this year. How do you kind of balance all those games, Aaron?
Well, it's tough, to say the least. Of course, Murray State, I love my Racers and my men's and women's basketball team. I just finished up my second consecutive year doing radio work with Neil Bradley on Murray State football. Not the outcome we wanted with the season, with all the talent we had coming in. Unfortunately, with that matter, we're going to be a new football coach in at Murray State. Mitch Stewart had a fine 5 years as the head coach, but has been reassigned in the athletic department. But that was a lot of fun. But now going to basketball, I do both the men's and women's PA for all the home games, which equals out to close to 55, 60 games. It's amazing over the years, and even this year too, Todd, looking at the schedule, that really the conflicting nature between Murray State's home games and any of Lyon County's games, it's only been about 4 or 5 games every year where they've played at the same time at different places. And luckily I've had some great guys help me over the years, filling in for games on WCCK for Lyon County. With Caleb King's going to help me out again this year. Also had Jeff Waters, of course, who does Marshall's, helped me out over the years. Greg Lee also helped me out. Jeremy Rose, Jeff Parker, just a few of the guys that have stepped in over the years and helped me out and fill in for a few games. So, but what it equals out to with not a lot of conflict is a lot of games that I get to call between November and March. It usually equals out to roughly about over 100 games I call in basketball, either for Lyon County boys or girls or Murray State men's or women. And that doesn't count. I also fill in and help out Livingston Central since they do not have a full-time radio broadcast. I'll do their games in the All-A tournament and in the district and regional tournaments as well.
You mentioned the Murray State football coaching job there. Do you have any inside information for us this morning?
I wish I did. I was talking to athletic director Kevin Saul. He said this is going to be a very meticulous process. They've just posted the job as of yesterday. They said this will not be a quick fix. This is not going to be just a quick turnaround. We're not setting a timetable on when they have to hire somebody. They're going to take their time to this process. Like we said, Mitch Stewart has done a great job over the years, had a great start to this year, had 2 big wins against Pikeville and Morehead State, and competed in pay games against Georgia and Toledo for the longest time. Had a rough start against UT Martin, could not get the offense rolling, and then won the next 2 games against EIU and Tennessee State, for that matter. 2-1 in the conference. Thought you were going to do pretty well. You saw the defense. The defense kept races in the game all year, but the offense just kind of stagnated this year. Could not find a way to run the ball. Some injuries, but really didn't have that one true running back threat. Preston Rice, who was a good dual threat quarterback, just a sophomore this year. You could tell the wear and tear on his body mounted up as the year went along, trying to run the ball as well as just be a true in the pocket passing quarterback. And it showed. It even showed, though, that this team could still compete to the very end. Southeast Missouri State to share the conference title with Austin Peay. Murray State led for 3/4 of that game this past Saturday in Cape Girardeau before falling by a touchdown. And even in the losses, besides the Martin and the Austin Peay loss in conference play, every other game Murray led in, and it came down to one possession late in the game. So the talent was there, but Kevin saw when he came in the AD. He said this is going to be a big focal point for him to turn this football program around consistently, competing for an OVC championship. And that's exactly what he's doing. As we said, Mitch Stewart, credit to him, great guy, great friend, and he will find a coaching job here, I'm sure, very soon and do great with that. But this is a very, very long process, I believe, Todd, that we're not going to see. They may surprise them, they hire somebody tomorrow, but I think this one may go even into Christmas time into the first of the new year.
We've got some Caldwell County kids down that way. Joby Jaggers trying to work his way into the quarterback spot down there. Shane Burns on the baseball team. Do you run into our guys very much at the Murray State games?
I see Shane quite a bit. Of course, Joby, I was going to mention him as well. Yeah, he's a backup quarterback, got the red shirt this year, and I'm sure he'll do great things. But Shane Burns, you saw him, of course, growing up, Todd, and I saw him a little bit in high school, but that young man is the star of the future for this Murray State baseball program. Of course, a year ago, left-handed pitcher, kept that ERA just above 2, amazing strikeout-to-walk ratio. He's only getting stronger and stronger. That fastball is getting more speed, but, of course, it's his off-speed nature that just throws guys off. And Shane Burns, I'm telling you right now, he is going to be the ace of this staff for the next couple of years for Murray State. He's an amazing player.
Okay, Aaron, I'm going to throw you a bit of a curveball here. I don't know if you're up on this or not, but, okay, so I'm watching professional wrestling last night on TV, okay?
Okay.
And it's AEW on TNT, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with that or if anybody is. But
I'm a little familiar. I didn't get to see last night's episode, but I do know the program. Yeah.
There's a guy named Chuck Taylor, and they said he's from Murray, Kentucky, the Kentucky Gentleman. Do you know that guy?
Yeah, I do know Chuck Taylor. That is correct. Chuck Taylor is from Murray, Kentucky. It's amazing to see the local talent right now that we have on programming right now for WWE. Of course, you have Ricochet, whose real name is Trevor Mann. He's been a United States champion competing at Survivor Series this past Sunday. He is from Reedland. And then Chuck Taylor, the Kentucky Gentleman, who is with Trent Beretta, used to be Beretta, now Trent as the best friends duo on AEW. He is originally from Mayfield, went to Graves County High School, and then in high school moved over to Murray and went to Murray State. His real name is Dustin Lee Howard is his actual name, and he graduated from Murray State University. He's about, I think, 1 year older than me. Trevor Mann is the same age as me, Ricochet. So it shows me what am I doing with my life? Why didn't I become a professional wrestler like these two? But they are doing a great job. I'm so proud for both Chuck Taylor and for Ricochet. Chuck Taylor, of course, competing mainly in the tag team scene at AEW, and then Ricochet right now competing for United States championships and hopefully one day for a world title. But yes, Chuck Taylor is a Murray State University graduate of 2010, and went to Graves County High, originally grew up in Mayfield, and then moved to Murray late in his high school career, and graduated from Murray State, so he's considered a Murray boy.
Wow. I really thought I would get you on that one, but, man, you handled the answer like a pro.
That's what I'm here for. You know my wrestling now, Todd. Now, Todd, when it comes to wrestling, you and me, wrestling, and St. Louis Blues hockey and St. Louis Cardinals baseball, now that you're not going to get much of us on that, even old Rams football for that matter. So we still even follow the old team in L.A. I'm more excited right now, Todd, for what's the future of St. Louis sports. You know, we got the XFL team coming in the Battlehawks in February. A couple of years we'll have the Major League Soccer team. I don't know how much you are on soccer, but I know football you enjoy. So are you excited about the XFL team coming in?
Yeah, I'm trying to get excited about it. You know, I'm still a little hurt about their whole Rams situation and the way they left and went back to L.A., but I'll be watching the XFL just out of curiosity to see what's going on.
Yeah, well, we had a great year in St. Louis. Cardinals went to the LCS Blues for the first time in a million years. We finally won the Stanley Cup. I was there for Game 6. You know, I spent both my arm, my leg, and part of my shoe, but I got to be there. Unfortunately, didn't clinch it that night, but did clinch it. And just right now, it's a great time. I'm a St. Louis pro sports guy through and through, and it's been a fun year for St. Louis sports after a pretty big struggles over the last 5 or 6 with how the Cardinals and Blues have played and also losing the Rams. So it's good to see St. Louis turn it around.
Yeah, I did not think I would live long enough to see the St. Louis Blues win a Stanley Cup championship, but, hey, there it is.
There it is.
Hey, Aaron.
Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on this morning. Got anything else for us?
No, not really. I appreciate the guys there. Tell Mr. Goodaker, Mr. Englebright, tell them hi. Appreciate them being on today. And I think it's just shows your work ethic, Todd, that you're there on Thanksgiving morning. So I just want to tell everybody out there in Princeton and all of Region 2, for that matter, that's listening this morning, happy Thanksgiving. God bless. Enjoy the day with your family, friends. Really take this time to live and to slow down. Don't worry about the hustle and bustle that this season sometimes brings. Just enjoy these next few days. And then when Monday comes here, then we'll hit it hard. It'll be basketball season in Region 2. And hope to see you out at the games again. I'll be in Princeton Tuesday night, that's when Lyon opens the season. That's when Caldwell opens the season. The old District 5 rivalry will come back around. They'll make the 12-mile trek from Eddyville to Princeton, and we'll be at the Cab Tuesday for the girls at 6 and the boys at 7:30 between Lyon and Caldwell.
Yeah, I'll see you a bunch next week, so get ready for it.
Will do. Thank you so much, Todd, for having me.
All right, thanks, Aaron. That is Aaron Clayton, the voice of Lyon County basketball, the voice of Murray State University on the radio and the public address. And Ty, he's a busy guy.
He's a busy guy. Happy Thanksgiving to him as well. And I was going to ask him. Of course, I'm a Murray State alum myself, but I think it'd be fun. I always wanted to sit up there and go, clear the track for Racer 1.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
So I know he's got to do that probably. So anyway, Happy Thanksgiving, Aaron.
Again, Aaron Clayton joining us this morning. Gary Goodaker's here. Ty Englebright is here, and we've still got a lot to go on the show. We've got a top 5 for everybody this morning. So we know you're going to stick around for that. We'll continue with the Sideline Report here on WPKY after this.
You're listening to the Sideline Report on 1580, 103.3 WPKY. The Sideline Report is brought to you in part by ABC Finance, Bashir Sawmill, U-Ride, and Barkley Hudson State Farm.
It won't be long until families and friends will gather across America to celebrate the holiday season.
It's a sad fact that 1 in 8 Americans lack the access of adequate amounts of nutritious food, and during the holiday season, the need is greater than ever.
Hi, this is Jody Lamb at the Princeton ABC Finance location.
And this is Todd Morris at the Hopkinsville location.
At ABC Finance, we believe no one should go hungry this holiday season, and we hope you agree.
Our annual food drive is underway. Drop off non-perishable food items to any ABC Finance location closest to you, and you may win cash.
For every item donated, we will enter your name, and each ABC Finance location will draw 4 $50 winners.
At ABC Finance, we want to make a difference this holiday season.
Learn more. Visit abcfinanceonline.com and be sure to like our Facebook page for lots of financial tips and community info.
West Market in Princeton invites you to join them as they transform the store and bring the spirit of the season to life. They offer affordable, well-crafted gifts for everyone on your list and unique farmhouse and vintage-inspired Christmas and home decor items, such as arches, garland, wreaths, ornaments, and pillows, plus West Market's very own artwork and more. Everything you need to transform your home and fill the space under the tree. West Market, you and home.
During this season of Thanksgiving, your friends at Pennyrile Electric are thankful for the generosity of their members. The Pennyrile Electric Plus One program offers an opportunity for you to extend to your neighbors a helping hand. You simply agree to have $1 automatically added to your monthly electric bill, and your contribution will be used to help pay electric bills for people in need. That should give you a nice warm feeling too. Sign up for the Pennyrile Electric Plus One program online anytime at precc.com. And happy Thanksgiving!
Back on the Sideline Report. Thanks for joining us on a Thanksgiving morning here at WPKY. Want to tell you about Dave's Deal of the Week at U-Ride in Princeton. This week it's a 2011 Toyota RAV4, black in color. See Dave for details at U-Ride in Princeton. That's U-Ride, 310 Marion Road, Princeton. Telephone 270-365-3215. Be sure to ask about Dave's Deal of the Week at U-Ride in Princeton. It is a live Thanksgiving Day show here on 1580, 103.3 and WPKYonline.com. A couple of things I'm thankful for today is that we are not among those getting 2 feet of snow this Thanksgiving.
That's for sure.
And always thankful for Duke losses.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
That was something, wasn't it, Gary?
I think that college basketball is really showing that the talent is being dispersed. Yes, Kentucky has a lot of talent, Duke has a lot of talent, but these games that have been happening with the Evansvilles and the Stephen F. Austin, I think that basketball has such a surplus of good players. And if you put them in the right position with the internet and recruiting, I think people are finding their fits a little bit earlier, and teams are able to, at the lower level, keep and develop good players. And you're going to get more and more of these when you have one-and-dones playing the right team that kept their class for 4 years. This is going to happen more than it has been.
I think there are more good players out there today.
Definitely. And I was talking something to my brother the other day about, we were talking basketball. How in the world, don't get me wrong, Murray State's a great basketball school. They had, but how does somebody, a larger school, miss out on John Morant?
Yeah. Well, Murray State just got in on him early.
Right.
And I think by the time the bigger schools came calling, Murray State already had him wrapped up.
Yeah. And what a get that is. I was watching the Memphis Grizzlies game a little bit, the L.A., and he was awesome. He gets that right out there and doesn't miss a lick. So, I think you're right, Gary. You see these one-and-done teams, running into a seasoned team of talent. They can pose some trouble for a young team.
If you're a coach at a school of that level, you're probably aspiring for one of the bigger jobs. The way to get it historically, if you notice, is be a mid-major team that gets a win in the tournament. The only way you're probably going to do it is you stack your deck and you play for 1 year, and you recruit for 5 to 6 players within 1 and 2 classes, get them to be juniors and seniors, and get that run. Where is Steve Prohm? Well, he's at Iowa State now. Mm-hmm. He leveraged it. I can name others, but this is the way it happens. Every year, some mid-major gets a win in the tournament, and that person is at a Power 5.
You guys are throwing out some good information this morning, and Aaron Clayton had some good stuff. I feel like I'm underprepared for the show today.
Man, I think you're spot on, but it's kind of hard. It gets a little distracting when you're thinking about all the goodies that are coming later, at least in my mind. I've been distracted all morning. Tess and I talked about food, and yes, I'm going to try to stay focused here a few more minutes on sports and football, but I've got visions of turkey and dressing and different things in my head here.
But Todd, you have been giving out the information for your Sports Edge. I'll plug it. I'm not getting paid for it. You've been cranking out these previews that people need to get on the website and be reading on their phone or on their tablet, because I don't think you're underprepared. But if you think you are, it's because you've been absolutely delving yourself into Second Region basketball.
Still working on those things.
Right.
So, head over to yoursportsedge.com. We're not really supposed to tell everybody when exactly all the previews are coming out, but if you're a Caldwell County or Lyon County boys basketball fan, check it out later this morning.
Yeah, today.
That's all I'm going to say.
Today could be the day.
Yeah, it could be. There's a good chance.
But Second Region is definitely going to be covered by yoursportsedge.com.
Yeah, every team, boys and girls, we've got them all coming the rest of the week. So. Need to get to another break here on the Sideline Report, but as promised, a top 5 is coming up in just a bit, and it will involve football since it's a football day. Stay with us here on the Sideline Report on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
Here's your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast.
Well, your Turkey Day forecast says partly sunny, then a slight chance of a shower today, about a 20% chance, a high 42. Chance of rain continues overnight tonight, low 36, and cloudy for tomorrow, a 50% chance of showers, high 48. Tomorrow night, low of 42 with an 80% chance of showers, and showers Saturday, a high near 60. Sunshine returns for Sunday, a high 51. Again, for today, slight chance of showers, partly sunny, a high 42.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Raider Auction Company.
Get spruced up with quality mulch from Bashir Sawmill on Dawson Road in Princeton. We all know that buying mulch by the truckload saves money, and it's only $25 per load for dark natural mulch at Bashir Sawmill on Dawson Road, 1/2 mile past City County Park. Bashir Sawmill also buys standing timber and timberland. Give them a call today, 270-365-2330. That's Bashir Sawmill, family owned and operated in Princeton for over 50 years.
It's all at your fingertips now at WPKYOnline.com. Local video, local news, local sports, local weather information, and of course, contests. Plus, you can listen to us on your smart device. Just click the Listen Now button. We've made it easier to find your favorite information. WPKYOnline.com.
The Sideline Report continues live in the WPKY studios this morning on Thanksgiving Day, and thanks for joining us for the show. Gary Goodaker is here. Ty Englebright is in the studio. We had Aaron Clayton joining us on the phone a little bit earlier, so a busy day on the show, and you guys know if this was 70 or 80 years ago, we would be preparing for a high school football game today.
That is exactly right. There was a Thanksgiving game.
It was a big deal back in the day.
It was here at Butler, wasn't it?
Well, Butler Tigers used to play Marion for the longest time. It was tradition.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving Day, you'd be getting ready for about a 2 o'clock kickoff this afternoon, either here or in Marion. I think the Tigers played those Thanksgiving days until the 50s, and of course they kind of went by the board when the playoffs started. Before the late 50s, there were no high school playoffs. You just played your schedule, and whatever your record was is the season you had, and everybody went home happy. But
a critically acclaimed author wrote about this in a book.
Yeah.
Some guy wrote a book about it.
How festive is that, though? A Thanksgiving, a high school local Thanksgiving game on Thanksgiving Day. How festive is that?
Well, it's clearly cultural, like you said.
Yes.
I think we're now in a playoff-driven society. We want playoffs. I mean, college football went to playoffs, the last holdout. So I think that was just simply emblematic of the time that simply – college football was bigger than the NFL. We have to remember that this occurred historically. You are paralleling to the times where that was the case. Well, college football did the same thing. They simply had a season and a record, and they went on to the next thing. So high school was basically more modeled off college than NFL.
But, back in the day, I guess everybody would have boarded a train or something, or, had a big carpool
caravan,
going down to the game, and there would have been a parade, and the bands would have been fired up, and it would have been a big deal. It was everybody's bowl game at the end of the season.
Early enough, you could have ridden by horse.
Yeah.
Right. Do you know the all-time record off the top of your head? I know you. I didn't know if you did or not. Didn't mean to.
Yeah.
But
for all of Caldwell football, or just the high?
No. Just for that particular Marion Princeton.
No, I think Princeton Butler usually got the better of Marion. The Marion Blue Terrors.
Wow.
If you remember back that far. But again, the 30s, 40s, 50s, sometimes think I was born too late. I think I would have enjoyed those games back then. It was a different and everybody wasn't quite as uptight about the playoffs. And
some guys didn't wear helmets either.
Yeah.
You could have worn your hat with press in the rim about it. You could have walked
definitely. Hey, Todd looked good in a fedora, wouldn't he?
Well, he did when he wore it for Thanksgiving 3 years ago.
There
you don't remember?
Would I have had to talk funny like the old sports guys in the movies? I'm not sure I can do any of that, but
I think he'd be great.
I thought maybe Ty would give it.
No.
We do have a top 5 coming up today. As a matter of fact, I think we're right there and a good chance to do it. NFL games on Thanksgiving Day, big tradition. 3 games on tap today: Bears and Lions, Bills and Cowboys, Saints and Falcons. I think those are the games today.
Right.
So we're going to do our top 5 Thanksgiving Day NFL games.
That's right.
And I guess I will start today. We'll start at number 5. And from 2016, Steelers 28, Colts 7. And as an old Stillers fan, and that's the way you pronounce it, Stillers,
that's right.
That was a rare Thanksgiving Day because it had been 66 years between Turkey Day wins for the Steelers. Of course, they don't play on Thanksgiving Day every year, but still a rare win for the Steelers.
Wow, that's a good one. Of course, you pretty much Dallas and Detroit are entrenched with that Thanksgiving Day. But my number 5, and we'll just go this way, I guess. Lions-Vikings, November of '95. That's the game. Scott Mitchell and Warren Moon combined for 750 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, and 3 line receivers had over 100 yards receiving.
Offensive explosion.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a DeLorean.
Wow.
Number 5 is a future event.
Really?
Today, we've all been following Elijah Sindelar at Purdue. Well, whom did he battle for quarterback playing time for 3 years?
Yep.
David Blau.
Wow.
David Blau will start today for the Lions as the 3rd stringer. It could be good, it could be bad, but it'll be memorable because it's someone we somewhat tangentially have some knowledge of because of his relationship with Elijah.
And hey, you never know. I mean, sometimes a guy comes off the bench and has a career day in front of everybody on Thanksgiving. So.
And that's exactly right.
To number 4, I'm going to 1979. Oilers 30, Cowboys 24. Earl Campbell and Tony Dorsett put on a show that day. Campbell ran for 195, and his Oilers got the win. Long live the Houston Oilers.
Man, I loved Earl Campbell back in the day
he's
like
the best.
that. Oh, man, he just run right over you. But, Gotta love that, don't you? Of course, we got a connection to the Oilers just down the road, but it's really cool to hear the Houston Oilers. My number 4 is going to be another Minnesota game, but this time they visit the Cowboys. It's an overtime. I've got a lot of overtime games. This one's from November of '87, and I'm just going to throw out names. I don't have any stats here, but you got Tommy Kramer for Minnesota, Anthony Carter, a receiver for them, and, of course, Danny White was the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, and Herschel Walker at running back. So,
aren't the Vikings and Cowboys linked by Herschel Walker somewhat?
Yeah, they are, because the year afterwards, Herschel got traded. And
for like 7 draft picks.
That all turned into what, Hall of Famers?
They actually call that trade something, and guess what? Who was in that trade? Emmitt Smith.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Yeah, so... Good. Look at Gary, and man, Gary is on it today.
Number 4, I don't remember much about the game. I just remember the botched coin flip in '98. Detroit ended up winning over some team from Pittsburgh. Yes. I don't want to bring that up to you, but I don't remember anything but the fact that the coin flip was botched. I remember that part of it.
It's on my list. I remember, guy says tails, and the referee says the call is heads. Okay, so we're up to number 3. My number 3 is 1980. Bears 23, Lions 17. In overtime, I think the shortest overtime game in NFL history, because the Bears returned the kickoff in overtime for a touchdown. After trailing 17-3 in the fourth quarter, the Bears come back to win.
Yeah, that's a good one. We might see it again sometime. My number 3 is a Green Bay Lions contest in I believe that's 1986 is where I pulled that one out from. But, and again, here's the Green Bay quarterback. Listen to this name, Randy Wright. Does anybody remember that guy?
I do not remember him.
And then, of course, the Detroit quarterback was a guy named Joe Ferguson.
Yes, so, I do remember Joe Ferguson.
You remember Joe Ferguson, yeah.
From the Buffalo Bills.
So the Bears come from 10 point. The Pack comes out from 10 points down in the fourth quarter to win that game. So,
Gary?
Well, we need to say his name because he may fade into obscurity after the pitiful performance of the Cowboys this year. But Jason Garrett in '94, if David Blau needs any channeling, he had, as a third stringer, a 42-31 win over the Green Bay Packers. As you said before, sometimes you get your chance. And even in '94, it was even more so because without the proliferation of multi-channel sports and the internet, this was the chance to be seen by people who didn't get to see Dallas or Detroit much. So Jason Garrett, third stringer, came off the bench and got an 11-point victory for his Cowboys. And he'll probably be unemployed next year.
We're up to number 2. At my number 2, we're going to Dallas, 1993. A snowy Dallas as the Miami Dolphins beat the Cowboys 16-14 as Leon Lett steals defeat out of the jaws of victory. The Cowboys blocked a field goal late in that game that would have won the game for them. Leon Lett inexplicably ran down the field, tried to fall on the ball, touched it. Miami recovered, had another chance at a field goal, kicked the winning field goal in the snow in Dallas, and the Dolphins beat the Cowboys.
Snowy game, yes, yeah. That we're probably going to see that one again. I threw that one in as an honorable mention. I'll just mention that now. I don't have to mention my honorable mention because, the Leon Lett play. I think the guy named Stoyanovich for the Dolphins was kicking.
Pete Stoyanovich.
Pete Stoyanovich, yeah.
Was he on your fantasy team at the time? Is that why you remember
Boy,
that?
I don't know. I just remember that was cool. Now I was a Dolphins fan. I kind of
almost as good as Uwe von Schamann.
I love that. And all I can remember is Pat Summerall every Thanksgiving saying "Septien" for the kick. I mean, God, how many years that guy kicked for Dallas? My number 2 is going to be from November of '85, another overtime game. Broncos 24, Cowboys 21. A guy named Drew Bledsoe was actually quarterbacking for the Dallas Cowboys. We know about him. He made his way around the league several times.
Yeah, Drew was actually in New England before some dude named Brady took the job.
Some guy named Brady showed up before that. Drew, and then, of course, Drew gives way, I think, to Tony Romo a couple seasons after that, but he got hurt. And then a guy for the Broncos that we hear of, I think he's a Hall of Famer now, Champ Bailey.
Yeah.
So,
number 2 for me was Minnesota 48, Dallas 36 in '98 because Randy Moss, I think, jumped onto the scene, and I just remember looking at him thinking, what a specimen, what a player who seemed just, for his young stature in the game at the time, coming out of Marshall, and I thought, this guy could be the greatest ever. And Jerry Rice is still. He did not he did not surpass Jerry Rice, but I finally saw someone I thought might be his equal. Now, he was probably superior in talent, but I don't think anybody put in the work like Jerry Rice, and he did not surpass him. But I think people realized what he could be, and he clearly was Hall of Fame level, and I think this was where people realized this is a unique and transcendent talent.
Yeah, I don't think Randy Moss always had his head on straight, though, or he might have been the greatest receiver ever.
Man, I think you're probably right about that. But, boy, we've been blessed, guys our age, to really, I think, grow up in a time where we got to see so many good NFL receivers, quarterbacks, I mean,
quarterbacks especially.
Quarterbacks especially.
Staubach, Bradshaw.
You can just start naming them.
Marino,
Elway,
Kelly.
Kelly. And
we're leaving out guys.
And
I remember Fran Tarkenton.
Sure. And we got Brady, Staubach. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Dan Fouts, who never won a Super Bowl. Incredible quarterback.
We're up to number one, and we've already talked about my number one, so the suspense is kind of gone, but it's 1998, Lions 19, Steelers 16 overtime. Jerome Bettis called tails. The referee heard heads. Argument ensued, but the Lions got the football, went down the field, kicked a field goal. The Steelers never got a shot at it, and that's my big Thanksgiving Day memory, is watching over and over as Bettis says tails, and the referee says, and the call is heads. So, but now that I've been in the middle of some of those coin tosses during high school games, it can be a little confusing. There's a lot of people out there. There's a crowd. You're trying to get everything straight, so you could hear something strange.
As a teacher, I've taught now. This is my 23rd year. It's real. You say words, and they believe they said something else. I clearly said X, and they believe I said Y. So, no, there is a channel somewhere that distorts reality, because I've taught so many things and my students heard the opposite. It's real. So this is just simply one of those things.
And now the NFL, they've even changed the way they flip the coin. You have to make your call. It used to be call it in the air.
Right.
Well, now you make your call. It's repeated before they even flip the coin.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's an insurance policy, and I guess we need them in the world we live in now, no doubt about it. My number one, this goes back to 1980, and we're going back to the Silverdome. I think this was the first overtime game that was ever played on Thanksgiving. Bears 23, Lions 17, overtime. A guy named Peyton, otherwise known as Sweetness, had 123 yards rushing. Quarterback for the Bears, Vince Evans.
Wow.
That name.
I remember him, but I had forgotten about him.
And then what about good old Gary Danielson, quarterback for the Lions, and a guy named Billy Sims.
Billy Sims was quite a player in his day. He didn't have the long career, but he was electric in his for about 2 or 3 year period.
So that's a name that's kind of cool to bring back up, Billy Sims, because like you said, an electric player, not a long career, but boy, when he was on the field, you better watch out.
But that's one of the interesting things about the running back position. It really has, you can tell, we're talking about these running backs, Smith, Sanders, Peyton. Well, now the running back position is not as integral in the spread offenses. We're talking about receivers today. The game's changed. I think this historical walk is telling you how the games have changed over time. And my number one has already been alluded to because it's memorable. I just remember Leon Lett touching the ball. I don't remember anything about the game. I just remember that. And I guess that just, these are the kind of things I try to instill in my sons. Details matter. Knowing the rules, understanding how to play with aggression, but yet with your mind. And how many times have, Todd, we've been on that sideline and we've seen situations where they're good young kids, but for both teams, not just Caldwell, and they just do things that make you wonder, do you truly understand the rules? And this is one of those cases where it's been emboldened in my mind that be prepared. Leon Lett simply just was not prepared at one moment, and it cost them a game.
All he had to do was simply leave the ball alone. And they had the game won.
Yeah.
Isn't that life sometimes? If you just don't do something that's an actually good thing to do, is keep your mouth shut. Well, not in your world. Y'all radio people.
No,
you should talk.
I try to remember that sometimes.
No, you're exactly right. And I think that's what, from whatever level you start playing sports, it teaches you about life. It teaches you about these lessons. And I think you make a very important point. There are rules of the game. And if you're going to get out here and play, you need to know them.
or referee
society or whatever. Yeah, but it can cost you if you don't play by the rules or don't know the rules, and it's that simple. But boy, you look at Detroit though, a team like that, Billy Sims, Barry Sanders. They had these great running backs back in the era, and always some good quarterbacks, but they never could get it done in the championship level. And it's kind of funny because, man, a lot of really good backs and quarterbacks have come through that organization, and they've never been able to put it all together, whether it's coaching or whatever. Was it the longtime coach, what's his name, Fontes? Was that his name? Ray Fontes.
Wayne Fontes.
Wayne Fontes. And, yeah. And, that guy was as good a coach as they're out there, but they just couldn't have the organization get it done, whether it's injury or whatever.
Look at, on our high school scale, look at the history Caldwell's have. No, we don't have 20 state titles, but we have 2 and another appearance. Caldwell County football is well organized and has good support. Go back to this weekend. I was watching some of these football games. If you go to, what have there been, 53 or 54 Super Bowls, 53? Mm-hmm. It doesn't take very many teams to gobble up half of them. Dallas, Pittsburgh, Green Bay, New England.
Niners, yeah.
Yeah, you get about 5 teams, and you've got about 26 of the Super Bowls. Well, that's organizational. You would think if it wasn't that way that everyone would have about 2 or 3 or 1. Well, that's not the case. Organization matters, and I think you can see why, like I said, Caldwell County football is a perennial winning team overall. Organization does matter. Talent is important, but you have to have a structure and you have to have something that is going to be capable. Mayfield, they definitely have a structure. Look at that and look at teams with high turnover and programs that are in disarray, and they win 3 to 4 a year.
We need to get to another break here on the Sideline Report, but good list, everybody. And thanks for joining us here on a Thanksgiving edition of the Sideline Report. Gary Goodaker is here. Ty Englebright in the studio. Had Aaron Clayton on the phone earlier, so some good information being dished out on Turkey Day here on the Sideline Report. Back with more in just a minute here on WPKY.
You're listening to the Sideline Report on 1580, 103.3 WPKY. The Sideline Report is brought to you in part by ABC Finance, Bashir Sawmill, U-Ride, and Barkley Hudson State Farm. Here's your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast.
Well, your Turkey Day forecast says partly sunny, then a slight chance of a shower today, about a 20% chance, a high 42. Chance of rain continues overnight tonight, low 36, and cloudy for tomorrow, a 50% chance of showers, high 48. Tomorrow night, low of 42 with an 80% chance of showers, and showers Saturday, a high near 60. Sunshine returns for Sunday, a high 51. Again, for today, slight chance of showers, partly sunny, a high 42.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Wallace Towing.
This is Carol at the Woodall Agency at 110 West Washington Street in the heart of downtown Princeton. Our agency is proud to have been a part of this community since 1907. We want you to come by and see us soon. We may be able to save you some money on your home, auto, motorcycle, or mobile home insurance. We offer discounts for good students, multi-policy, safe drivers, and many more. We appreciate our loyal customers, and we will work hard to make you feel like part of the Woodall Agency family. Call me today at 365-5541.
Gathering the harvest is a crucial time of year for farmers, and taking care of your money and banking accounts are just as crucial, especially with taxes and holidays coming up. Fredonia Valley Bank would like to help you by introducing different types of checking accounts to meet your needs, like a Christmas Club account or a certificate of deposit. There are many ways you can save money just by talking to one of the friendly tellers or loan officers at Fredonia Valley Bank, with offices in Fredonia and Eddyville. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
We are back on the Sideline Report here on 1580, 103.3, and WPKYonline.com. Thanks for joining us, a live show in the studio for Thanksgiving Day. And Ty, I think this is the third time we've done this.
I think it is, and it's become tradition.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving is all about tradition, and I think hopefully, Lord willing, we'll just continue it next year.
Well, and when I had Aaron Clayton on earlier, I forgot to ask him the big thing. He's from Murray, and so my big question would have been, hey, Aaron, what's your favorite Murray, Kentucky, or Murray Head?
He would have said Murray, Kentucky.
Yeah,
that would have been easy. All you'd have done is given him the opportunity to praise Murray one more time.
But we all like Murray Head. The One Night in Bangkok song is iconic, and
it's iconic.
We play it a lot here. And
what about are you guys going to get out? And I know I make it a tradition for myself to get out and throw a football sometime today. I mean, I really do. I don't know why. I might even just toss it up to myself, but hopefully my 19-year-old and I will throw the pigskin a couple times.
Yeah.
Just I think it's a day of tradition, and I've always done that since I was, as far as I can remember, was tossed around a football on Thanksgiving Day. So I hope to do that later.
Well, my 15-year-old would rather get the baseball.
There you go.
He's ready to start conditioning next week, so I think I'm going to have to get the glove out.
Uh-oh, you're ready.
Well, there are days I would love to get back out there and play some football again, but then I struggle to get up, and I remember why I don't play football anymore.
Oh, yeah. I'll probably struggle a little bit, but I hope to toss it around a little bit.
We've got a few minutes left, so I want to ask you guys about Kentucky Wildcat football, the Cats and the Louisville Cardinals. Big game coming up this weekend. Both teams going bowling.
Yeah, they are. And I think there's a lot. I've heard a report there up in the air as to where we might go. Again, I think if Kentucky loses, I hear it could be down south again, not too far down the road. But the city down there loves that. But I think Kentucky is a favorite to win this game, and so it looks like
small favorite.
Basically home field
advantage. And it looks like if they win, then they could be going toward the East Coast. I do believe, is that right? Toward Virginia, Belk's Bowl,
is in
Charlotte.
Charlotte is in play.
So Charlotte,
they would like us because they haven't had us before. I don't believe.
Mm-hmm.
Right, never been there.
But Nashville. When we went to Vanderbilt, Adam and I did, oh my goodness, it was a sea of blue, and blue got in, and I think they realized that Nashville, even though they don't get the hotel out of it, they get so many people coming, and they do spend a lot of money. I think that Music City would jump at another chance. It's been long enough.
No doubt about it. I'm with you, Gary.
Yeah, would you rather have 50,000 people there, even if they're not staying all night, or 10,000 who are? But I think Music City also has Tennessee in play, so they would probably like that pretty good too.
Yeah.
I think that I've heard Houston as well. There's a bowl in Houston. I think either way, it's going to be about what we expect, that tier of bowl. I think the Louisville game, it would take probably two SEC teams getting in the Final Four to bump us up one level. Until we lost to Tennessee, some Jacksonville was back in play again. I don't think we're quite there yet. But considering everything that happened, I think that a bowl of any type this year is the bridge you need, because you need to keep recruiting going, and might have a quarterback coming as a transfer to replace Terry Wilson. We got a quarterback coming from Lexington. I still think the momentum was saved by getting this 6th win and hopefully the 7th.
Well, and looking back, the coaches have really done a pretty good job with what happened. You look back and think, man, Kentucky should have beaten Florida, should have beaten Tennessee. You get those 2 wins, and you're 8 and 9. 9. No, it's they're 6 and 6.
8 could be 9.
Yeah,
8
so
could
they've
be
got
9.
8
Could
wins.
be 9.
And at that point, Stoops is probably on maybe some national list for Coach of the Year, but it's been close.
Recruiting offensive linemen is pretty important. We could not have pulled this off without the offensive line that we had. So, yes, you say, oh, well, we had no choice. We'll just run both. No, it's not we had a choice. The offensive line was part of that decision-making. If we didn't have an offensive line, then are you going to risk Lynn Bowden getting killed? No, you'd have done something else.
Well, and there have been years where Kentucky could actually throw the football but struggle to run it. Now everyone in the stadium knows they have to run the football, and they still find a way to do it.
And your receivers are blocking. That's the other part of this, too.
Yeah.
If you don't have blocking receivers, this doesn't work either. You have to have all 11 on offense buy-in.
Yeah, and it's good to get out there and hash it and smash it, as I would say. So it's kind of going to be fun to watch, and ought to be great, and just good luck to them.
Well, I used to ask football coaches, I'm like, what are you going to do offensively if the other team puts 8, 9, 10 guys at the line of scrimmage? And just about every football coach would say, it doesn't matter if they have 11 guys up there. If we get people blocked, we should be able to run the football. And that's what Kentucky's doing.
Yep.
Gary? Comment? I've left Gary speechless. I mean,
well, you got a yep out of me.
You did it so well. I got nothing else to say.
Well, we're about out of time. Anybody have any final thoughts on football or food or Thanksgiving or any of those things?
Just I hope everybody out there has a blessed and a wonderful Thanksgiving with their friends, family, whoever you're celebrating with. And just glad to be here, Todd, and I hope to do this with you again next Thanksgiving.
Remember those overseas defending our freedom, because they don't get to go home. They're in places unknown to any of us, so remember them as well.
Appreciate you guys coming in today, spending a little time on Thanksgiving with us on the show. Thanks to Aaron Clayton for joining us, Gary Goodaker, Ty Englebright. Again, thanks, guys, and this show was a lot of fun. We should do it again next Thanksgiving.
I got it on my calendar.
All right. Gary gives me the thumbs up, so we're good to go next year. We'll just go ahead and promo next year, next Thanksgiving. Same guys on the show right here on the Sideline Report.
There we go.
That's Gary Goodaker, Ty Englebright. Again, thanks to Aaron Clayton for joining us earlier. That's going to wrap it up on the Sideline Report. This is Todd Griffin. Thanks for joining us, and have a great Thanksgiving. You've been listening to the Sideline Report on 1580 103.3 WPKY.
Serving Caldwell County since 1950. We're 1580 103.3 WPKY Princeton.
Fox News, I'm Roger Stern. The giant balloons are indeed flying above